listen to here today. Professor Dr. Prakash Chandra Pattanaik has been, I am audible, right?
Yes,
Hello?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. Professor Dr. Prakash Chandra Pattanaik has been teaching and conducting research at the University of Delhi for more than 3 decades since 1987 and is presently at the Department of Modern Indian Languages and Literary Studies, which he has headed in different teams for over 7 years. After post-graduation in Oriya language, literature and linguistics from Utkal University in 1980, he completed his PhD there in 1984, his doctoral research topic being a sociolinguistic study of the Duang tribe. While his area of specialization encompasses comparative literature linguistics, particularly of tribal languages and culture studies focusing mainly on ethnic cultures, his area of interest is folklore and tribal lore of India. His vast teaching experience ranges from teaching second language to non-natives, language courses for undergraduates, Indian literature and comparative literature, along with folk and popular culture at postgraduate level, oral tradition, tribal culture, and comparative literature at MPhil level, and research methodology for MPhil and PhD coursework. Professor Pattanaik has been associated in key positions with leading higher education bodies and institutions. He has played a pivotal role as member coordinator in NAAC peer team visits to universities and colleges across the country, as expert committee member for the deemed to be universities under UGC, as expert committee member of UGC Standing Committee on notification of list of journals to be released by UGC, and as expert committee member of UGC to prepare syllabi for undergraduate courses under choice-based credit system. He has served as member of other prestigious high-power committees, including the Grants in Aid panel under HRD Ministry, the UPSC, and the CPSC. Professor Pattanaik is chairman of the governing bodies of Gargi College, a prominent women's college, and also Shyama Prasad Mukherjee College, both under Delhi University. Further, he is in the governing body of Rajdhani College and was formerly member of the governing bodies of Hansraj College and Sahid Bhagat Singh College, all under Delhi University. Despite huge academic and administrative work pressure in Delhi itself, Professor Pattanaik has found time to be associated in similar capacity with important institutions in other parts of the country, including Viswabharati of Santiniketan, Ranchi University, and Bharatiya University, Coimbatore. He was a member of the crucial linguistic expert committee which recommended for declaration of Oriya as a classical language in 2014. In this context, we are gratified to note Professor Pattanaik's Assam connection. He has served as UGC nominated member in the advisory committee for special assistance programs in the Assamese Department of Dibrugarh University and Cultural Studies Department of Tezpur University. His field researches have taken him deep into the midst of various indigenous peoples, including the Karbi, Deori, and missing tribes of Assam, the Lepchas in Sikkim and West Bengal, and of course the Duang and the other tribes in his home state, Odisha. It needs to be mentioned here that among the awards and recognitions conferred upon him, like the Career Award by the University Grants Commission back in 1994, Professor Pattanaik has been honored with the Ren title by the Malayang Development Board of the Lepchas in Darjeeling, and also honored by the Karbis themselves in Karbi Anglong for his research work on them. Professor Pattanaik has authored seminal, extensively researched books on Indian folklore, tribal identity and culture, not to mention the host of research papers read and published in various peer-reviewed journals and conferences in India and abroad. Among his ongoing projects, Professor Pattanaik is serving as principal investigator for EPZ content development for comparative literature under the landmark ePathshala project of UGC and HRD Ministry, Government of India. Side by side, he continues to conduct major UGC research projects on tribal myths and lore of Orissa, as well as cultural mapping of the Lepchas in Darjeeling and Sikkim. So far, he has guided 2 postdoctoral fellows and 26 PhD scholars in the successful completion of their research, while at least 9 other scholars are pursuing their doctoral research under his supervision presently. This is but a short summary of Professor Pattanayak's overflowing CV. It is a matter of great pride and joy for us that he is here with us today to share his vast experience and knowledge on creating research space in undergraduate colleges. For teachers working in such colleges, as well as students, there has long been an insidious, inescapable feeling that while research is for varsities and top academic institutes, the role of colleges is essentially about churning out degree holders. We are sure Professor Pattanayak, sir, will inspire us to overcome such misconception and contribute our might in building our country from the grassroots as an innovation center and knowledge superpower. With these words, I would like to request sir to deliver his lecture. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
As to Principal Paschim Guwahati Mahavidyalaya, Dr. Rana Sharma, Sri Simanta Bora, President, Assam College Library and Association, Dr. Paul, Dr. Yoshadhara Medhi, the coordinator, IQAC, the college, Paschim Guwahati Mahavidyalaya, Dr. Madhulima Chalaya, the convener of the webinar, office bearers of both the organizations, the college, and of course the librarians associations, the members of research council of the college, teachers of different colleges, research students who are participating this webinar, and all the learned participants. I got to know that number is huge. They are sitting at different parts of the country. At the outset, let me tell you what Dr. Madhulima Chalaya mentioned as a brief introduction. It is a very long. In fact, I told just to tell that I teach in the Department of Modern Indian Language Literary Studies. So to be very brief again, I was a student of literature and also student of linguistics. I was compelled to teach comparative literature. My passion is actually to work on the culture and particularly the ethnic cultures and Odisha and the Northeast. And this is how I have been working. And the reason of telling it is to show or to tell you how multidisciplinary I am, or how I have been struggling to make my work interdisciplinary, and which has become the necessity now. If now, I'm sure after the implementation of the National Educational Policy 2020, that becomes the necessity. The topic to me, initially it was very simple, but now after listening to Dr. Medhi, I think the requirement is very high. Actually, we feel the necessity of it, but let me clarify at the beginning, very beginning, that I am not here as the member of the NAAC peer team. I am one among you, a teacher, teaching in the university and associated with the university system for last, as Madam said, more than 3 decades, 33 years I have completed in Delhi University. So this topic, when we discussed and finally accepted, we thought, what is the problem? Why the colleges, undergraduate colleges, are not in a position to show their research activity, to display their research activities? And this is the age of publicity. Whatever we do, if we keep at home, no one is going to check that. We have to show it to others. And while showing, while displaying our research activities, we have to follow certain things. And we have to, create new strategies, how to work and how to display. So the topic has been arranged in such a way that it covers three important things. One is, of course, research and innovations. And when I am speaking to the teachers of colleges, teachers of universities, those who are my colleagues, I don't think this is good on my part, or it is a very daring step to talk about the research. But I'm not going to talk about the research the way they think. We have added also innovation in the first part, research and innovation. Second part is the undergraduate college scenario, the situation in undergraduate colleges so far the research and innovations are concerned in India, overall situation in India, and how to overcome if there are any problems. That is the creating space, exploring the possibilities, and to first begin with whether it is possible. So this is, very precisely, I am going to talk about this topic. So what is research? I will go for a simple one. The problem is we are trying to make it complicated. The word research, if it is told, if it is uttered by a college teacher or university teacher, I don't make a distinction between college teacher and the university teachers. Teachers who teach at undergraduate level and postgraduate level, they make it very big things. And sometimes the students who come for research, they are afraid of joining because of the word research. Research in the academic world has a huge meaning, and we are imposing that meaning on the word. But let us think that in day-to-day activities, how many times we use the word research? Let us go in a very simple word. Even children, I'm sure all professors who are sitting and watching their children must be telling that I have done this research. And research to him is, okay, this is something new to me. It may not be new to others. It may be new, it may be very, known things to others, but it is new to me. So research has a meaning, very simple meaning. Research, and the number of time we go on searching is research, and there is no end to it. So this approach towards research should be easy, should be a fun, not a burden. When we think of research, the terminology used in the academic world, it becomes a burden to the student. It may look very fashionable to talk, I am a PhD research student, but if we see that every day we are doing some kind of research in our personal life, and that may not be accepted in the academic world. So what is research? What I am doing? I am trying to find the facts. I am trying to show something new that is creating new knowledge. I am trying to apply the knowledge I have gathered as, considered as the new knowledge. For example, I am visiting the same field, research field. To me, the research field that is in the Northeast or in the Assam context, because it is being organized by the colleges of Assam. So I should try my best to give examples from Assam. So even if I know a community, when I go there, many things come to my eyes as new, and that is new information to me. Mara mentioned about Tarbis. In 2006, when I was there in Karbi Angla, Hamrin subdivision, I was just coming out of a village. I saw there is a structure that is something different to me, pushed in the hedge. So I asked, what is that? They said, Jambali Athar. And prior to that, I had seen that picture in the textiles in the, the mekhla chadar or the jacket the Karbi people use. So I looked immediately. So the information was new to me. This is Jambeliathan. And that gets the reflection. And later, that fascinated me so much that within that short period, I started so much of information about that particular item that put me in comfortable position to prove that Jambeliathan is the identity marker of the Karbis and the Karbi pride. They may change the place, but they cannot change. They have to go with that. And it has many functions. This is just one example. So this is the knowledge. So how do I apply that knowledge? Whenever I get chance, I tell others that this is the knowledge for me. And this knowledge, this information I got, I tried to check it with many people from Assam and who use even that type of dresses, but they do not know what is that. They cannot speak about that. To them, it is just a motive. So by application of such knowledge, we are building new ideas. We are also explaining observation. I'm not talking about the academic world, what is done in research, but in day-to-day life also, we are also putting our observations. We are also trying, motivated towards the collections of external or additional information knowledge. Then when we think that that should be presented in the form of a research paper, the new information I have, the new ideas I have, and the type of observations I have noticed, if that has to be presented in the form of a research paper, then I prefer as a researcher to visit different theoretical premises before preparing my report, that is dissertation or thesis or a research paper. So this is research to be. But when it comes to academic world, besides the collection of information, analysis, formations of ideas, additions of new knowledge, and the creations of something new, the outcome, putting and trying to apply even the theories, that has been left by the old scholars or the outsiders, I am trying to present something in the shape of a thesis or a research purpose. My job is to get a degree, and that is maybe a research degree, MPhil or PhD. Till this year, of course, MPhil is there. But where is the applications? We don't think after that. Is there any application of my research outcome? And most of the researchers in India, including my research, what I had done in 1984, I don't find any application to that, except few scholars referring to that. Even I don't think, those things, people will be eager to read because they are not going to apply in the field. And that the attempt is now to change that. So if in the academic world, research means the careful or detailed study using a systematic or scientific approach. In the ordinary usage, the approach we may not call it scientific, but it also follows some knowledge. And if I do that, if I record the type of research, not again, within what we can use, research we are doing every day, our children are doing, our students are doing, we cannot find any difference between the two. We may not call it the research. And then we try to find difference. After gathering information, preparing many observations and analyzing the observations, putting additional informations, we try to put them under different approaches. We follow, and then they say this is a different type of research. It may be mixed, it may be descriptive, it may be cross-sectional, fundamental, basic, there are number of terminology, and they are where we suffer. So my suggestion here, to me, only two types, or there is a mixed type. One is quantitative, another is qualitative. In quantitative, we are collecting information using the questionnaire. We are using the package, statistical package, to analyze, put it in the formula and analyze, and then come out with the result. And in qualitative, we go for text analysis, content analysis, and for all those things we prepare a design. There is no need to speak extensively on what is research in the academic world, as all of us know. Whether we are teacher, we are student, we are research student, or we are aspiring to become teachers, we all know that these are the research. But the field of research is extensive. There is a possibility we can introduce it, we can implement it at undergraduate level also. If you see the syllabus of Delhi University post-graduation courses, there is a paper on research methodology. So our intention to orient our students towards the research, and later they can come out by using that skill, that method, and that experience, they can come out with a very significant research work. That is the intention. And then come to innovation. Innovations is again the new ideas, new imaginations, creative thoughts, and applications of all these. But my point is it possible to go directly for innovations? And there is a point in the criteria suggested by NAAC, there is a point, research and innovation, that is it possible to go directly towards innovation? But we know that ideas do not, we may come out with new ideas. We may come out with different kind of imaginations. We may have different creative thoughts, but it is true that ideas do not sustain without applications. So this innovation gives a scope for applications. And that is possible with limited resources, limited efforts. If we choose small projects, it should be inspiring. If someone is taking a small project, he or she should be inspired, encouraged to do that. There should be regular interaction between the person opting for innovations and showing some kind of innovations through research. If one is preparing to build, the imaginations will allow them, and then we'll think that the utility, how this can be brought to the life, the day-to-day problems, how this can be brought for the use of, or this can be used for the benefit of the community, not for the benefit of the individual. So this is the way the spirit of innovations can be kept alive. And innovation also teaches us how to change ideas to values. It is not only the new ideas, how to change it to values, and in clear strategy to make it sustainable and competitive. So innovation cannot be done by only one person. We cannot, there are many to do some kind of innovations, new things are coming out. So how it will be sustainable and competitive. Then the new ideas, how these things can be used, the products and the services. So while talking about the innovations, we cannot ignore the research, because there is a strong bonding, the relationship. Research teaches us how to acquire knowledge. We have acquired knowledge through frequent searches, through repeated searches, and that takes us towards innovation. Hence, innovation is not possible without searching, without research. Sometimes the idea may not be new, but it can be formulated to look new. And that is again based on the study. And if the study is systematic, the innovation will also be systematic. The input, then the method of putting them in an organized manner, in a systematic manner, and the output. So this is the way the research is converted to innovation. We can, the benefit of that is through innovations, research, then acquired of knowledge, and through the process of innovations, we can create powerful database. We are talking about database, and we are always depending upon others, database created by others. We can create database ourselves. We can also learn how to share knowledge. It is not only borrowing knowledge, we also share knowledge, technology, and create the business partner. Just simple innovation or just beginning our research, then converting or trying to project it as innovation is not going to solve the purpose unless we try sharing the knowledge, we try sharing the technology, and we try creating the new business partner. So what is the purpose? It is to promote the innovation, competitiveness, research, technology transfers to institutions and people. You see, from small thing, from day-to-day experience, now we are going to transfer the knowledge, transfer the output, and to share the information among others through the process of innovation, and which can be, in other words, put as extension of services. I'm sure, to this August, participants gathering at, though they are at different places of the different parts of the country, there is no need to talk about these definitional things, and I had definitions. I also don't use normally the quotations to prove my point. I try to make it as simple as possible. So sometimes to create a kind of joke and to avoid the seriousness among the listeners, we call it KISS method. Always keep it short and simple. So I try to follow that so that everybody can understand it. And if some questions remain, that we can discuss later to get a better answers. It is not that I am here to give all answers, even we can share our experience. And that the new ideas innovation teaches us. I'm not linking with the high standard what or the academic world the way they consider the research. What happens in undergraduate college? Almost in every college in India, we have developed a culture that is no culture. And that is, we have decided that the research can be done only in the university post-graduation department, research department. We have already decided it. I do not know where is the beginning. Why not in a small library the research can take place? Why not in a club the research, we can undertake research in a club? Why not in any other organization, in school? So, but we have decided research means it is connected with the university. And what is the plea we take? We have no time, we are overloaded. And that is true. In some colleges, even teachers do not get time to think about themselves because the whole day they are busy in teaching classes. But we take that as a plea. We have no time. We have no opportunity because we are not allowed to take leave. We are not allowed to go and attend seminar. There is no inspirations, no encouragement from inside, any side. No funding. In order to do research, we need funding, and so there is no funding. then even if we do and we don't find space for publications, and every time the rules are changing, initially it was UGC listed journal, now a care list, and peer reviewed, not peer reviewed, all these restrictions are there, and we are using that to justify that these are the reasons why we are not in a position to carry out research in our college. We also say no one encourages to do, no can encourage us to do research. And then we say, okay, what is there? I have got my degree, I am a PhD, and now I should supervise the work, I should not work. I should not go to field, my students should go to field. And that is the attitude also of some people in the university. There is no publishers to publish the works. That these are the things. No infrastructure. We say there is no lab. I know, because I know this is a gathering of teachers from science, arts, and commerce streams. So we say there is no lab, not much library facilities. Our library is there, but whenever you go, you don't get any books. No infrastructure, and no serious students to join us. That is also another allegation, and finally nobody recognizes our work. Besides, of course, the personal problems, and that is true to all the colleges of the country. Then how to overcome such problems? First thing is, we have to remove from the mind that the teachers of science, they get more scope, the teachers of commerce, they get lesser scope, and the teachers of art stream have no scope. And to tackle this problem, now, when the NPA, the National Education Policy, NEP, the National Education Policy 2020 suggests that there should not be any distinction between these three streams. So the students of science will also opt for commerce subject, humanities subject, and the vice versa. But even if that is not there, I'm talking about sitting in 2020, we could have learned to say that, okay, we don't have lab, we are the students, we are the teachers and students of humanities and art and commerce streams. We don't have lab, we don't require lab, but we have something called field. You see, the researchers, what do they think? The field means it is going to remote areas, it's free. There should be a strict, clear-cut distinction that the field we are talking is a different thing. It is not related to the village, related to, linked with the remote areas. The college can be a research field. The college library can be a research field. The common room can be a field. This playground can be a research area. Where there is a possibility of gathering some kind of information, where there is possibility of creating some kind of ideas, the new ideas, and where there is possibility of going for sufficient observations, regular observations. And this attitude enhances the innovation spirit. And that's what we say innovation. That think that it is possible within the given surroundings, given facilities, I will think something new. I will try to create something new. I will acquire something new. The next step should be, how can I involve my students through or in different projects identified by us? I'm sure any college can opt every year at least 100 projects. There is no end to research. That's why it is research. So we can create projects where we can involve our students. Cite the examples of the personalities, great personalities, who have also led a life like our students have, or we, and they have created space for them even after completion of the college education, or even not before. I'll cite two examples, and these two are the two Gogois from Assam. I'm not talking about the Chief Minister or the Honorable Supreme Court, Chief Justice of Supreme Court. They know, we all know they are excellent in their fields. But what about the two Gogois I am talking? One I met during my visit to Bokakot College. When we are just walking in Kaziranga forest, we met a person, and he's none other than Manoj Gogoi. I do not know how many of you know Manoj Gogoi, and Manoj Gogoi has international name. The self-styled naturalist, and now he's the awardee, the recipient of Wildlife Warrior Award. The amount of contribution he has made for the conservation of wildlife has been recognized even outside India. I met him, I got a chance. I had an interaction for 10-15 minutes. So today, when I thought of giving him, as citing Manoj as an example, I talked to the principal of Bokakot College, Dr. Gogoi, to check whether my information is correct or not. He said, yes, the person we met, he is Manoj Gogoi. And he was a student of Bokakot College. I'm sure no teacher has taught him innovation. No teacher has taught him any kind of research on how to rescue the animals. He started himself. He took initially 11 members with him, and now he has more than 100 volunteers. They are working. They are doing great service. They are also earning money. And he was a student of that undergraduate college. Perhaps he was not given any importance when he was a student. The another Gogoi is my friend, Ranjit Gogoi. The type of experiment he has done in Bihu dance. In one performance, he mixes Deuri Bihu, Missing Bihu, Karbi Bihu. In 20 minutes program, he tries to show everything, and that he goes on popularizing this as a dance form. The performance, Bihu performance as a dance form outside India. One is doing the conservation of animal, another is doing the conservation of culture. And they are not less important to me. So the research, innovation, and applications, these three things, these two are the examples. There are many such, thousands of people in Assam and other parts of the country. Only thing is, the way they thought, the way they have chosen their life, perhaps others could not thought that time. That's why they are in the limelight. But are they less than? They have not published anything. They have not gotten the PhD degree from any university. But their work is definitely praiseworthy, and they get the recognition everywhere. So what is we can create such projects that is possible in the undergraduate college. Identification is possible. Even if I move in the college campus, I can identify 10 different projects in a day. That the projects can be completed by the students, and students will submit the report under the guidance of one teacher, the mentor. and that will be the research outcome. If we keep every year 100 such projects ready, each project having a report of 25, 30 or 50 pages, because now we are putting pictures and other things to make it 30, 40 pages is not a problem. Let any team visits and see. We have less publications, but see what we have done. And publication is not in our hand. It is the organizations whether they will accept for publication or not. Even the e-journals, whether they're accepting or not. The publication is not in our hand, but it doesn't mean that we are not doing research. We are contributing to arts research and innovation. So the project study we may call later as a research project. Take any community. Problem is the identifying the problems, identifying the research areas. There lies the problems. I will give another example. In 2007, I had gone to Narayanpur. I was collecting some information from the Bardauri village, nearby Missing village, the Khamti village, and also visiting Satraj. And then after that, I got a chance to talk like this to the colleagues of Narayanpur. That time it was the college, Madhavdev College, now of course it is the university. And the instant reactions from some friends, teacher friends, that we could have done like this, because it is only, we are staying at a distance of 2-3 kilometers, we could have gone and collected information. So no one will teach us what is to be done. When we visit field, we can identify this as to be done. Send the students to the roadside and with giving them ideas. Let them conduct the interview of the vegetable vendors, conduct the interview of the beggars, the performers, and come out and submit the report. I am sure we will be able to collect new informations through their presentations. And if we discuss with them the social, cultural, environmental needs of those projects, those areas of investigation, then they will be more interested to collect information. And this is not, I am not just telling like this. We had experimented it. And few years back, 6-7 years back, 1,000 students of Delhi University undergraduate colleges and some teachers had gone to Northeast for 10 days. And those projects are still there with our students. I will be surprised to know during the 10-day students, they were given language teaching training, the conversational language. Even under my leadership, that program was undertaken. And they went, they had submitted projects on Muga silk, fishing instrument, musical instruments, not only from Assam, entire Northeast. And even if someone is not capable of writing the report, what he has submitted to the university is a kind of album, taking pictures, and now everybody is equipped. One can take pictures. We don't worry about the quality of the pictures. Using the cell phone, we can take the pictures, and they have submitted. So that is successful. Only thing is they do not have that much experience or knowledge to identify the problems, to identify the investigation areas, to identify the research areas. But once they get into that, they can identify, even they can come out with innovations, new ideas, new skills. So we can identify problems, we can identify research areas for students and give them number of choices. Let someone work on the wall painting. Let someone work on the vegetables. specially grown in that areas. Fruits, flowers. Here the problem comes. These are only the areas of the art student. Only the art students are supposed to take. Take the example of two examples. One is the flower and moon. Flower is a subject of the researchers from all streams. A creative writer will write something looking at a flower. It has a big role in the culture. In any culture, the flower has a role. A botanist will try to dissect and separate calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, and put it under families. The botanical name, to give a botanical name. Horticulturist will immediately think how to grow it in my garden and get such flowers. And then a student of commerce will think how to do a marketing, because these flowers are there and they disappear after 2-3 days. How to do marketing so in one day? So one day I can earn something. So what happens? One item, and if I take that as a research item, then the student or researchers from art stream, commerce stream, and science stream all have scope to investigate. So also the moon, those who are practicing astrology, they are talking about the movements of the planets. They may not be the scientists. Scientists, of course, they have proved that they have been talking about that. And if nothing is there, then we try to build a relations, the man and the moon relation. That is the relationship that we establish is accepted by our culture. So what I want to do, and a person from commerce may think of buying a plot in moon. So these are the possibilities. Everywhere you will find. But what happened? We have made the distinction. No, this is only the science students can do. This is only the arts job of the art student, and art student cannot go back to match at par with the science student. And that is, he's talking about, somebody is talking about business, and the outlook is a commerce student. Only commerce student talks about business, as if we don't talk about business. So this choice, we are leaving choices for the student and focus on the real life issues. Real life issues is important because we need immediate utility, the applications. What happens after the completion of the project? Is it going to be applied? It is going to give us some benefit, or it is just going to, I am writing something and that will be kept somewhere. So if it is real life issues, I'll try. How many new things are come during this period? We'll find in science, they are busy in preparing a vaccine for last many months, and we do not know how many months they will continue to stop coronavirus, this COVID-19 pandemic. The students of art, or those who are practicing, or those who are the creative talent, they are writing stories, poems, maybe novels, linking this issue. And it has a market now. The market has changed. The economy has changed totally during these 4 months. So if I propose something on the pandemic situations in 2020, during it has already taken 4 or 5 months in India, and we don't know how long it will go, then this can provide many areas of investigations, and we can think of many projects which can be undertaken by the student of commerce, arts, and science. So only thing is, the job of the teacher is to motivate them. And how to motivate? Start with the World Magazine. Suppose somebody is writing a feature, as the freelancers do, somebody is writing a feature. put it in the wall magazine so that another 50 students will read it, and I'm sure that next week we may get 5 more like that. Getting an idea. If I write the life history of the roadside magician, and the students can easily do that. They can go reach them, talk to them. They will not tell the trick, but we can have plenty of ideas about their living style, how they live, how they work, how they earn, and how they entertain others. But only thing is, we should allow students to be autonomous for each and everything. If we interfere, then definitely their interest will be seized. A student goes to field, taking ideas from me, and when he comes back and report, I should have patience to listen. I should have patience to listen. I should not go on contradicting without having any field experience, without having any knowledge. I should not go because I am the teacher. So we should give enormous facilities, freedom, and make them autonomous. So no one should interfere. We can only guide how they will be methodologically correct. We can teach them the values. We can tell them the ethics, but without any kind of interference, we should allow them to work. Then, not single activities. It is better to do group activities. And automatically the things get tested. Suppose I'm sending a group to study the Zoom cultivation, which is not there. Okay. And Zoom cultivation is not a happy thing to listen nowadays. But okay, I'm sending a tea garden, and they can work in different groups. One group will work with the education, another group with their economic condition, another with the facilities they are getting, another group will work on the method of collections and how they go and dump their collected samples in the factory. So in one visit, if 100 students in 10 groups they visit, they will come out with 10 different projects, and which will be tested by themselves. If one person, then we may think that there is some kind of manipulation. If 10 students go, they can do that. They can inform that. What is happening now? They have popularized these things, and we are not in a position to do that. And now the time to look into the pedagogical research. I don't have to talk much on this because we'll be compelled. Once we accept the new education policy, the national education policy, we'll be compelled to go for the new design of the curriculum. And when we design the curriculum, therefore there is a column, there is a category in a NAT report on curriculum. And we simply write that it's not our job, that university does, and we only implement it. Of course, there are representatives from the college in the Board of Studies while planning the curriculum. So time has come, we have to think and how to incorporate these new things in the curriculum. How to, along with the new things, we have to also add the instructional delivery, how to deliver that. And that is also a point in the NAC report. Then how to do assessment and evaluation. And I am talking only in connection with the projects we are assigning to the student, and how the assessment evaluation has to be designed and which should be pedagogically correct, viable, that the students. So I here love to bring the 7A that is taught in education while talking about the project-based learning. Let's say authenticity. The projects should be authentic. It should have academic rigor, It should also display applied learning. There should be scope for active explorations, authenticity, academic rigor, applied learning, active exploration, adult relationship. I should consult others. That is the thing, not sharing information, but the consult. And definitely for the students, they have to consult the elders, the teachers and other elders. Then assessment practices, there should be continuous assessment. Then only they will come what is the thing lacking. The way we collect data in the research, that's why I said the research in academic one. We collect data from the field. We collect data, that is the secondary source material from the library or archives or museum. Then we try to go for assessment of the material. And then when we are convinced that it is not adequate, we again revisit the field to collect some new information. So that assessment and evaluation, these are the 7 A's taught in project-based learning in education. And project-based learning is the requirement of 21st century that we cannot ignore. Even internationally, it is accepted that 21st century skill is project-based learning. But my personal suggestion is to keep the project locally, and it should be locally so that the manageability aspect will be easier. It will be easy to manage. The students or the researcher who will go to field, they will not waste time. And then the application will be easier. If I bring out something, if I know how to process Dhekia Sag, I can also think for the market outside Northeast. We only talk that it is full of iron, it has medicinal properties and the other things. That's why I said any item, any area of investigation you select, that all these three, the art, science, researcher from art, science, and commerce field have something to contribute. Then see the things in the surroundings. We don't have to go very far in the surroundings, what we get from the surroundings. Visit different communities, the ethnic communities, and collect.
Sir, your sound is not coming, sir.
What happened?
Yes, sir. It's
What
okay.
happened? Okay, thank you. Then try for the applications, and applications again locally. Our knowledge may spread internationally, but we have to see the knowledge is applied locally. And then we should not stop investigation. There should be further investigations. We should not stop investigations. And as a result, we can explore new areas of investigation. Then I told you that my responsibility to how to link it with the NAAC requirements. You see category 231, what it says, the student-centric method. And the project-based teaching and learning provides scope to apply student-centric method. And it enhances, in the process, it enhances the learning experiences. 2.3.4, innovation and creativity in teaching and learning. Every day, not only this teacher has to think of a new model, the students also have to think. And the only thing is we all do that, but we are not recording them. And while informing to the NAAC, we don't mention them. We are doing extension activities. We are doing, if we are not doing, we can do extension activities. Let some students go outside and teach in the slums, teach in the neighboring area. As I told you, in Assam, in the tea plantation area, tea estates, our students can go and teach something. So these are, few things. We do certain things, but we do not know how to show it under the best practices. So I told, if we can, I mentioned just that if we can complete 100-page projects like this in a year, there will be nothing like that to show us the best practices. But what we normally do in the report, what we write, best practices means we are following strictly the curriculum prescribed by the university. We are delivering lectures, we are doing continuous assessment, then we identify slow learner, active learner, and make remedial coaching, arrangement, all those things. And we also build relationship with parent teachers, and these are the best practices. These are not the best practices. Best practices are something new that now during COVID situation, we have created something new, which perhaps the other teachers and students of other colleges could not think of. If we say but what I'm sure the report will be, there were attempt for awareness campaign in different ways. That awareness campaign everybody does, and they get it from the television also, people get it. So we are not contributing separately anything new, from our college. So we can think of that, and then both the project reports and teachers should be made available electronically. Let it be put in the college website. That is the easiest thing. Let it be put in the college website. When a student will say that my write-up has been put in the college website, we'll call some more of his friends and see, read my write-up in the college website. Why should we say that there is no scope for publications? That is also a kind of publication. Now the thing is, whether we get credit or not, the college will get credit. Individually, I may not, but college will get. And there will be a documentation. We can also develop a museum. You can create archives with new information collected by our students and teachers. We can arrange exhibitions. The photos taken by our students, we can arrange photo exhibitions or painting exhibitions. In nutshell, involvement of teacher students in skill development through project skills and journey towards what our Honorable Prime Minister says, the Atmanirbhar Bharat. The training has to go from here, and there will be orientation towards research. When they go for higher education, the research that is conceived in the academic world, they get the training. Students get opportunity to learn through the projects, based learning, teaching and learning. Students get opportunity to learn how to collect data, how to conduct an interview, how to go for documentation, audiovisual documentation, how to do analysis, and sometimes they may come out with some new points, through proper analysis. Identify what are the additional information, what they had not gotten so far. Now, because of their attempt to do research on a particular topic, they are getting chance to know how to apply the experience they have, the knowledge they have, and they try to explore the scope themselves. If I see a rare plant in a particular village and I get a plant and put it in my garden, notice the growth of that plant, I'm applying my knowledge, additional knowledge that I gathered during field work, and getting chance to grow the plants in a different soil. After that comes report writing. If they are encouraged, otherwise we are there to help them in report writing. And what we will do, information, it is their information, it is their supporting materials, will only help them how to put it in language. We'll teach them the style of reporting. You will teach them the language of reporting. We'll also teach them to use the minimum style sheet, not the complete MLA or APA. And will also, and the process will help them in generating a kind of love for work when they realize the importance of the work. When I find that I have written a feature on a particular event of Assam, and that is there in the college website, then definitely I will be tempted to write one more, and my friends will say, if each write-up is there, I will also try to provide a write-up. And overall, it develops the skill of collection, skill of collecting materials, skill of innovation, skill of applications. So to summarize what I discussed today, I explained the topic. I talked in my own way what is research and innovation, because to this audience, I don't have to talk more about research and innovations, because all are involved with research and innovation. I also discussed the relationship between the two. Innovation is not possible without research. So behind innovation, any innovation, there is research. I also try to bring the overall scenario of undergraduate colleges in India. And we are not responsible. I'm not, putting the blame on any teacher, on any college, or any system. This is what is going on. And our responsibility as a citizen of India to think of ways, new ways to overcome such situations or problems. And also I tried to touch the NAAC requirement related to research, innovation, and publications. Okay, and how we can match in the vision document of National Education Policy 2020, because we have to prepare ourselves. And something is going to change after 35 years. We know the change is required, and change should be more application oriented than, yes, we have to make how we have to prepare ourselves to make our journey comfortable towards the skill development and preparation for the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Thank you. I should stop, and I thank the organizers for giving me opportunities. But I love if a couple of questions were asked, then I will remember the points I have forgotten. I'll focus more on that. Thank you. Thank the organizers.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
For
okay. I don't see you. Yes, please, madam. Yes. Hello.
I think my network could be bad. Hello.
No, I listen to you.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for this evocative lecture, and your energetic, evocative lecture has invited quite a few questions, sir. People have mostly, I can see a lot of comments where they are saying that they are very happy to be here, that the area has been well explained, and so many good things, sir. And the questions, I'll go to the questions now, and some I have tried to bring to my phone screen actually to facilitate myself with the task. One question is by some are actually, sir, can be classed together in some groups. Like a lot of questions, a few of the questions are on the national education policy. Some you have already touched upon, but they would like to have more detailed answers, I suppose. So as there are not too many questions, I'd like to take as many as I can. There is one question from Upasana Burman who asks, What will the future look like for research based on field studies post-COVID? Is there any better alternative, as going to the field and engaging with people will be full of risk now? Okay, could you get me?
Yes,
Yes,
I got it. You know, this is again, Madam Upasana.
Yes.
I can understand your concern. I don't think anybody has answered for that, how long this will continue. This problem will continue. But it doesn't mean that our research will be checked. Our progress in research will be checked. Yes, we can continue. You see, what is field? That I need to be explained. Always we think we have to go to the field. We can change the dimension of the research. We can try collecting information from other means. There are so many methods now, and make use of the electronic media. You see, now you all will agree that we have more webinars than the national seminars organized before. And we are comfortable now, we are getting acquainted. So how do we get lesson at home? These were not the practice earlier. So only thing is we have to think new mode of data collection. That is my suggestions. And why I am insisting on project based. Even I am saying that all the students should be sent to the field, because field teaches us how to overcome problems. Certain things are unexpected. We don't know. We don't go with any pre-notion, but when we reach there, we find something different. Even after doing a good pilot study, when we reach field, we find things are different. And then we, change our strategy. Even those who are working, taking the help of the questionnaire, when they go and start questioning, at certain point, the questions become boring for the person who gives information. Then we are prompt to change our questions. So their time is there to, again, we have to be innovative here, how to collect information without going to the field. And then when the situation gets normal, I can recheck the information I have collected sitting here. But it is possible. I cannot say that it is not possible. Now I think even from Northeast, I can collect more information sitting in Delhi, because most of our students have gone home. I can employ them that, okay, I want this information from you. You are going to stay 2 months, 3 months to come with that. So you have to prepare and you have to think for the innovate again new ideas. How to collect information is also a kind of innovation. Next, madam.
Yes, sir. There are a few questions related to NEP, National Education Policy. So I'm clubbing them together. Sir, do you think the new education policy will give emphasis on research-based learning, which I feel is the need of the hour? And one more question is wait, I'll just. Do you think the new education policy will give emphasis on research-based learning, which I feel is the need of the hour? This is already asked. Then Dr. Rosmi Doctor asks, will the prospect of research be increased in the new education policy? Then one more on the NEP, connected to the NEP. As per NEP, UG students who complete 4 years will be provided a degree with research. In this regard, what kind of research work the UG students will need to undertake? These three will, I think.
Yeah. Now the question is whether the research, it will create space for research. If you read the whole document, what is true, they are going to even start this process from class 6 itself. When one student is going to choose a particular line from class 6, definitely will start thinking on that line more. And not only that, the areas are wide open now. It is not the student of science, arts and commerce. The areas are wide open. So definitely those who will go for higher research, they will get the training from the beginning. You see, When we are doing research, we got to know about research methodology only when we joined in our PhD program. That too, not the way I am teaching now in the Delhi University. We got to know about research methodology. Then came the MPhil program, and because in UGC said those who have done MPhil should not go for research methodology coursework in PhD program. So research methodology coursework became a part of MPhil program. And research methodology is a part of MA program now. And what I said, when we shift to project-based learning, teaching and learning, we have to also introduce research methodology. So the scope of research is increasing. The areas are increasing, and the training is increasing, and the duration, though the MPhil is not going to be there, but the orientation towards research will begin from class 6. Madam, I saw a line, somebody has commented that this is the innovation, discussion of innovation is very formal. Yes, that is true. He is rightly pointed out.
Yes.
And why that is formal? Why that is formal? I told in the beginning, even my discussion on research is also very formal. Because we are all teachers. We know what is research. We know what is innovation. But my idea is to bring research and innovation to undergraduate colleges, and has to be formal. Just make it simple. There is no need to make it complex. And this is innovation. If I use some quotations, I borrow ideas from others and place it, then I am going to make it complicated. And those who are listening, they will think that innovation is such a difficult thing. Then why should we go for that? And if it is difficult for us to understand, then how can we pass it to our students? When we talk the word innovation, they will say, what is that? Let us discuss the word people have understood. Nothing new. Research also, I made it very simple. This is what I don't do in my research methodology class. There I have to show my scholarship. No, we don't want to show our scholarship to the undergraduate student. There is no need to tell what X has said, what Y has said. Tell the student what you think. That because you are there to attend their problems regularly, not the person who gives a lecture. You are there to attend their problems regularly. So try to make it as simple as possible. And to create a joke, I said that method. Keep it short and simple. Then only it will be understood. Okay, next, madam.
The next
I'm also reading now.
One question goes like this. This is from Dipankar Saikya. Sir, the atavistic urge or the tendency to dig out the past of many ethnic tribes has been remarkable in recent times. Will such kind of research weaken national integrity and communal harmony? The urge or the tendency to dig out the past of many ethnic tribes.
You see, I don't support going to the past. If you are an insider, of course, you have some information in the shape of the oral traditions, maybe the oral history of the community. So you can think about that. For the outsider, there is no point in digging out the past of the ethnic communities. See what they are in the present, and we can go from present to the past. You see, the culture changes, but it doesn't change drastically. It accommodates. That's why we say culture is dynamic. It accommodates changes, and changes in the good sense. So it is better to record now. You see, the moment we are recording something in 2020, we are killing the dynamic nature of the culture of the ethnic communities. And sometimes what is happening, we are not conscious about the insiders and outsiders perspective. Outsiders perspective is different and insiders perspective is different. Certain things which are not important for the insiders may be of, much use or immense use to the outsiders, researchers. Similarly, certain things may be, may be ignored by the outsiders. So the thing is, instead of digging out the past, let us see what are they in present and what are the good things. How much of information is there in the indigenous knowledge and how much they contribute to the indigenous knowledge system. And talking about national integration, yes, if we share each one's culture, the integration takes place. And that attempt was made by the Ministry of Education that time, using the local language, national integration for the purpose of national integration. And only thing is, we have to be very particular in maintaining the linguistic and cultural plurality of the country. And in simple words, that the way my culture and my language is important, others' culture and language are also important. So we can think the ethnic communities in that way.
One more question. You have already answered the first part of it, it seems, regarding innovation. The second part, this is from Dr. Gopal Chandra Burman. He is asking, what are the key features that make a research applicable to the policymakers and public life as well? The coordination between the policymakers and public.
The thing is, our target is for the public life, not for the policymakers. The job of the policymakers is to collect the information so we are making it available in the public domain. Suppose my research has the potential of applicability in the interest of the public life, then of course the public sentiment by the policymakers will collect these informations and try to improve. What has happened to the national education policy, which we call new education policy? First 2-3 years, the exercise was there. The first document was kept in public domain for long to know the reaction. And if I go with the television report, there were 2 and 2.5 lakhs observations came. So automatically, if my research has some potential which can be used for something, it will attract people. And there are now methods to know. It is no more a secret document. Once we submit the dissertations, it is approved. One copy goes to library, one copy goes to UGC in the name of Sodhganga or whatever it may be, then it is already in the public domain. So if they think that, yes, the application of or some portion of it can be applied for the benefit of the general public, then the policymaker will follow that. If they don't accept that, if they don't use that, that is their problem, not our problem. It doesn't mean that because it will not be used by the policymaker, we are going to stop research.
Yes, sir. The next question is by Farzia Yasmin Chaliha. Sir, I hope you have the time. Is it okay?
Yes. No problem. Any number of questions. No problem.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. This is by Farzia Yasmin Chaliha. She is asking Pattanayak, sir, what would you suggest in regard to field study when the area of research demands field study in an international arena and the necessary funding policies to the research scholars? Regarding funding policies to the research scholars, she wants to know it.
You see, that is a very difficult question, because that we always tell that is, we always talk about that there is no funding, that's why I cannot. But think of a project that doesn't involve much money to do field work. Why should I think of a project in South Africa if we have enough things to do in our country? Unless I got funding, why should I spend my own money and go there to collect information? So I should think of a project that doesn't provide the scope to go to South Africa, but to use my own resources here. I'm telling you, people are talking about, I did a great survey of 1,000 people somewhere. Why? If it is a survey of the market, choose nearby market and do that. What has happened, you all will agree that we give a long list of libraries in our PhD thesis. Whether we have actually visited or not, we know that. But we give, these are the libraries I have visited during my data collection. First question will be asked, have you completed all the resources available in your library? So go to the nearest one. So you can save money, you can save time, and you get the same material. And besides, we have now many informations are available in the net. Then in order to make it fancy or fashionable, I should not go on putting a long list of that I have visited this area. So madam, so if funding is a problem, then better to choose a topic that involves less expenditure and take it. Otherwise, we cannot wait for funding and delay our research. If you are doing for the sake of degree, yes, you have to complete the degree and get the benefit at a certain age. Otherwise, the degree is of no use. The research work will be of use, but the degree. So we have to do that. Better to select, change the topic, and have something.
The next question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next question is, sir, from Dr. Purobi Goswami. She is asking, certain tasks that we need to do in our colleges have nothing to do with the intellectual training that we had to go through to get the job. What is your comment on that?
When we say master, I am master of this subject, it is presumed that I am a master. I don't require any training. What I require is the experience. And every day I am adding to my knowledge. You teach the same subjects for 1 year, 10 years, the same subjects, you will find that every lecture you are going on adding new information, you are changing if you are not using the same note. So training comes automatically. So we can make use of that. Only thing is you have to think before going to the class, because students are different. The research methodology class I was taking 20 years back, it's not the same what I am discussing in the class today. It is not because of my experience. It is also because of the standard of the students who are more curious to know many things from the teachers. They're curious, they contribute, they help, they acknowledge the potential of the teachers. So we get, teaching is such a field, we get our reward immediately. Because when we see that it is not one-way communication, it is two-way communications. Even if someone is sleeping a student is sleeping in the class, I consider it as a two-way communications, that the student wants to convey me that your lecture is boring, that's why I'm sleeping. So we have to think this positive attitude towards that. Then call him and ask, what is the problem? He may be having other problems. So what is the problem? Why did you sleep? Maybe you have not slept last night. So we can build a relationship. But this is again, I have told my students also that I am in the university for my students. The students are not in the university for me. So teachers are there for the students. Students are not there for the teachers. Because students are paying and teachers are paid. Remember, we are for the students. That is our job. We have to work. We have to think every day. What are the new things to generate interest amongst? Yeah. Yes, please.
Chat message also. The next question. Quite a few of them just want to know your general opinion on the national education policy, and also regarding MPhil and B.Ed.
I already in my Facebook page, yes, I have mentioned I support national. I have updated. I support national education policy. The simple reason is, we have been following one model for last 35 years. 34 years, and it is going to be implemented after 1 year, 35 years. At least there should have been 3 changes during this period. Things have changed. During 35 years, things have changed drastically. Our requirement is not the same what it was 35 years back. So the new education policy provides the opportunity to think something new, to train ourselves. It will be more skill-based education and research-oriented. And there where we have to be innovative. And regarding MPhil and PhD, when MPhil was actually, we thought that is a kind of, it provides orientation towards research. Therefore, MPhil is considered as a research program. We get training how to proceed in the area of research during our MPhil period to carry out further in the PhD program. But now that we are, orienting students towards research at undergraduate level, I don't think there is a need for MPhil. We can go directly for PhD. There is no need to go for MPhil. So that the committee perhaps felt that instead of wasting 2 years, 3 years time in MPhil, and then finally you don't get much benefit in the other sense, that in your API score and other things, there is no point, and PhD becomes unnecessary. And another thing that is, of course, in a lighter note, that in MPhil, your name is not prefixed, but in PhD, your name is prefixed as Dr. So-and-so. It sounds very good. So let us be doctor as early as possible than passing through the MPhil channel. So I think, Purabi Madam, this was your question, I think.
Purabi Goswami's question was regarding the so many other tasks that we do apart from teaching in college.
Okay. No, that I told. Yes, we are doing,
yes.
And there also we should think actually how to be innovative.
Yes, sir. Sir, you have you have given us a different view of way of looking at this issue, and of course, it is very helpful in that sense, sir. I don't think there are too many questions left out. Dr. Pal, could you check the Facebook link if there are any? Yes, Dr. Virendra Pal, please. Could you check the Facebook chat box if there are any questions?
I have checked, and I have just noted one question, and which was also. So first of all, I'd like to thank you for this wonderful session, because many sessions we have conducted, but the research on undergraduate level, it's a very unique session. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Pal. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, the question is like that, sir, as a faculty member, what should be our limitations regarding the research, sir? Because many times there is some saying that in the college system, there is no any requirement of research. We should focus on teaching. So what kind of research, sir, we can take in the undergraduate level?
Sir, but if you focus on teaching, is it possible without doing research? Then what we will do, we will only reproduce the same material what we have done in the past. So when we are adding every day something new, every year something new, even irrespective of teaching the same text, same course, same syllabus, if we are adding, we are doing some kind of research. Only thing is, make it visible. That thing, if you make it visible, that okay, this is the outcome of the research of the person. At least your personal research, you have done something, you have come out with wonderful findings. If you put that as an example, it will be a new information to others. You see, my experience in different fields, take example of Assam. I have traveled almost all corners of Assam, and any cultural information from Northeast, particularly from Assam, I am in a position to speak without any preparation. So that is my, addition to my knowledge. So I can give that as an example, the way I told about the two Gogojis, this information. So you can give examples, and this is the way you are showing, using your research outcome in your teaching. And it is true that every day we have been thinking. It's otherwise, those who say that in the college they teach without any thinking, they go, it is not true. Because a true teacher is not satisfied what he or she does in the class. Something is left. When I am speaking today, I'm also not satisfied on certain things. If I am given chance to speak again somewhere on the same topic, definitely there will be some addition. The materials will not be same. There will be some addition, some new points will come. So we are doing that. Only thing is there is constraints also, because as I said, we are sometimes in the colleges we are overloaded, and that is not a plea, that is fact. So we are overloaded, so we don't get time to spend more time on research. And then we lose interest when we don't get a publisher to publish our research output. But if it is application, therefore my suggestion, take small projects. Small projects, without getting any financial support from UGC. UGC is not giving, the last 5 years, UGC has not provided any financial support in the shape of minor or major research project. So take small project and bring out one article, and that is a research paper that comes out.
So thank you so much, sir. That was really a very important questions, and that questions was also in my mind. So I put this question because many times.
Right, you can think of it. You are from which place, which college?
Sir, I am from Kaliabar College, sir, Assam.
Okay.
It's located in the north.
He's a very spirited and dynamic young man, I can say, and he has been helping us constantly. All the colleges in Assam, he has been in touch with.
The technological knowledge he has, if he passes it to the students, that's again his knowledge, he's passing it, and we are there for that only.
Yes, sir. Sir, last question, sir. Actually, I have seen regarding your presentation, you have mentioned many times our library, sir. And really, sir, as you know, the library is the heart of any research work. And yes. How do you see this library from the point of research in the college system, sir? Actually, because in many times you have been asked to focus on the.
I am telling you, I was busy in the research work from 1980 to 84. I got my degree in 84, PhD, 1984, long back. That time there was no Xerox machine even available. So what I used to do, to the library. And I'm very sorry to say, most of the librarians of the central libraries, which like, what is that, census division library, all central government organization, they are not supporting. So again, that time also I used to be innovative, how to make them happy, sit the whole day, sometimes not only for my work, for my supervisor's work also. But what I used to do, if my supervisor has sent me to write something, it is copying only from the books, because certain documents you don't allow others to take outside. So I used to put a carbon paper and make a copy. So it was in my mind, because I was very young that time, immediately after my post-graduation, joining research, getting one India government fellowship. So it was in my mind, if these materials are important for my supervisor, one day or other, I will make use of that. Of course, I have not used those materials because his area was different, my area was different. But library provides that space. But now the use of library has decreased. Even if students go, they want to go through a shortcut, because everything is available in the net, and no one takes the pain of going. Then no one takes the pain of writing. No one takes a copy. Writing, even it is painful for students to write a letter, they will prefer to type it. The things have changed. So library in that way is affected. But most of the library have been digitalized now. All the informations are available in the fingertips. And I'm sure the librarians have a major role in research, Libraries have major role in research. Even if now everything is available in the internet, it doesn't, that doesn't mean that libraries are of no use. So even sitting in the library, you can come out with your new ideas because you have access to many things which perhaps the students or teachers, they don't have access even now. And therefore, sometimes we find it difficult to get the correct materials from other sources. So we visit library. So library has a big role, sir. And I was told to speak about research innovation. That's why I did not touch much on library things.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And really, your words are really very important. And we library professionals are also trying our best, sir, because we have to revamp ourselves. And we have just re-engineered most of the things. And really very much thankful to you. And as a assessor,
I will add immediately. One idea came. You have the documents. You have the computer. You can come out with a very good document. Which are the books, the types of the books, which are the authors read during last 5 years, the maximum. This will be again, it will be useful material for further research for those. That these are the areas covered by the students. These are the areas covered by the teachers. These are the authors who were read frequently, because you have a list of that. You have the record of everything. And you will find there are some books which have not been borrowed even once during last 20 years by anybody. So, so that is the field for you. Therefore, I say field work doesn't mean going to the remote areas. Library is the field for you. Sitting there, you can collect things and it will come out. There is a beautiful bibliography we find. Long back, it was published by a librarian in English and Foreign Language University, that time English and Foreign Languages Institution, Center of English Foreign Language Institution in Hyderabad. Resources are in your hand, how to make use of the resources. That's why instead of changing the area, first we should finish my area first, then I will jump to other area.